Are you ready to get energized? It is your host, John Tostanowski with EG4 Electronics, and we want to welcome you to another wonderful episode, a very energizing episode of the EG4 Power Hour. Today I have a special guest. Always have special guests here, but this one especially special because of the hard work that she does here at EG4 Electronics. Ms. Miranda Miles. Miranda, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Why don't you walk us through a little bit about what you do here at EG4?
Yeah. So I'm the inside sales manager here at EG4. I do a variety of things. We're really just kind of capturing any kind of processes, procedures that can better the experience for our installers. And that's what I assist in managing. So that's a variety of things. Sometimes I'm boots on the ground at a trade show, and sometimes I am just running back and forth across the office to make sure that some of their needs are met through tech support or an RMA issue or anything like that. I really just kind of manage all levels of support for installers and distributors right here at headquarters.
Yeah, absolutely. You are a true advocate for the customer. We see that time and time again. I think a lot of installers know your name on a first name basis. Yeah, I mean, it's been a good road here at EG4 so far. I'm excited to have you here and get you onto the show because I know that you do a lot of work in the background. That is sometimes like a little bit of a thankless job because of all of the things that you have to go through in order to get a solution for a customer. But we're incredibly thankful for what you do here.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm thankful for every single customer that has been patient with our processes through growing as a company. I haven't been here very long, but the incredible growth that we've had just in the time that I've been here has all I can say is thank you to the customers for being kind of patient through that growth and really being with us the whole time.
I know. It's crazy to see how many customers that are installers that are professionally installing our product. How many we have now since the time that you started. Yes. It's grown by probably at least close to 1,000.
Yes, it's
which is
incredible.
Unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
And you've been a key part of that. So thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, I want to talk about a couple things today. Really two main topics. I also want to welcome a special audience, and that is our customers in Puerto Rico, because we have something in Puerto Rico that we want to talk about. So, saludos a todos los clientes de EG4 in Puerto Rico. Welcome for being here and watching the show. We want to talk about virtual power plant programs. EG4 is now on, and I'll address the audience on this one. EG4 is now on 2 virtual power plant programs. One in California, which is DSGS. And the other one is in Puerto Rico, which is the Luma CBES program. So we're excited to talk about that. And I also want to mention one more thing. I know that there's been a lot of discussion and a lot of things in the news about the potential elimination of the residential tax credit for solar. And Miranda, you and I are very much in agreement on this. Whether the tax credit stays or it goes, we feel that EG4 is really well positioned as a company to always provide a product that is affordable to our consumer without sacrificing quality whatsoever. But we would ask that, the residential tax credit is important to the consumer. So we will be here for you one way or another. But we do ask that everyone kind of reaches out to their senator, and if they feel passionate about keeping the residential tax credit, which is the 5695 form, it's the 25D section tax code. But when you get a solar energy system with whatever equipment on it, but of course EG4 equipment like one of our inverters or our batteries, you are entitled, as it stands today, to a 30% tax credit of that overall system cost, and you fill out a form called the 5695 form, the ITC form. That is in jeopardy of going away. We ask that if you feel passionate about it, we would ask that you reach out to your senator and explain why the solar energy tax credit, or essentially the ITC for solar, is so important to you, and that you're a supporter of that. We'd love to see everyone be able to take advantage of their solar systems in the best way possible. But with that said, I mean, you've seen the great work that we're doing here. We still plan to, whether it stays or it goes, we plan to keep the course. We're well positioned because of where we are at as a company, with some of the things like onshoring a lot of our assembly and manufacturing, and moving them to our facility right here in Commerce, Texas. You know, Miranda, what's your experience with that been like? Have you been over to Solar 76?
Yes, it's truly impressive. Just the being able to so quickly capture the administration's desire to move things to the U.S. and to make sure that we're manufacturing in the U.S. How quickly that moved from just moving right into to manufacturing here. The facility is huge. It's so interesting to watch those inverters be assembled. Hopefully we'll begin, battery manufacturing here in the U.S. too, and that'll be like a huge benefit to the U.S. and benefit to us and to the consumers and to prices. But absolutely, everybody over there is working so hard to really push those lines out, and it's amazing to see kind of how quickly we kind of pivoted towards U.S. manufacturing.
Yeah, absolutely. And for anyone that doubts us, customers, particularly installers, distributors, we invite you to take a visit to our location, and we'd be glad to show you all the great things that we're doing. It's really impressive. We are truly defining. We already have a roadmap defined to bring all of the necessary things that we need to bring over to the U.S. to assemble and manufacture here. That is a defined roadmap. Right now, we're assembling, as we've mentioned in previous episodes, our FlexBoss 18 and our FlexBoss 21 inverters right here in Commerce, Texas, and we are shifting other components of our product lineups within EG4 to our manufacturing facility here in Texas as well. And we have a roadmap with a clear goal of getting there of around Q4 or Q1. So Q4 of 2025 or maybe Q1 of 2026 is where we plan to is when we plan to bring that over. So we are on that path. We have a trajectory, and it's really impressive to see how quickly we've been able to pivot and execute correctly. Yes. So with your experience in working with customers, did you ever get a lot of feedback that like virtual power plants were important to some of the consumers?
Yes, I mean every day, if not every week, if not every day, I'm getting emails about potential programs across the country. Every different utility has a different kind of program that they're building out right now, and it's a newer form of rebate, but it's still very lucrative to the customer, and it gives the customer a lot of options for their energy systems or their solar systems, being able to get their tax credit, potentially sell back to the grid, become their own utility company, is really, it's empowering to the homeowner. It's the installers. It's been very simple for the installers to be able to assist in getting solar out there and making it more accessible to people.
Yeah, absolutely. And so to give like an explanation of like what is a VPP or a virtual power plant, if I was to read from, Webster's dictionary, I'm not even sure if it's in the dictionary because it's a pretty new term, right? Yeah. But it's basically a network of decentralized and distributed energy resources. And it could be things such as, solar energy, wind energy, stored battery energy. It could even be a battery electric vehicles that is, connected in I guess they would call it like a V2G setup where it's like vehicle to grid. And basically it's all of these different energy resources that come together to distribute that energy onto the grid when the grid demands it. Yeah. And they call it sometimes they call it a demand energy response. So the grid, your utility company will demand certain energy from stored resources out to the grid to fulfill that need whenever that need arises, as determined by the utility grid. To simplify that, that's like the dictionary term. Ultimately, to keep it super simple, if you install an EG4 inverter or battery, we are now onto your home. We are now qualified for a program one in Puerto Rico, which is LUMA, and then another program in California, which is DSGS, where essentially what you can sign up as a homeowner. If you get the EG4 equipment installed, you can sign up as a homeowner for these programs where essentially they will pay you to deploy your stored battery energy to the grid when the grid needs it. So you're not automatically enrolled in those programs. It is something you have to enroll into. And as a matter of fact, if you live in Puerto Rico and your utility company is LUMA, or you live in California, and I have a list of the qualifying utilities for the DSGS program. You have the city of Anaheim, the city of Azusa, the city of Banning, Pasadena, Riverside, Vernon, and then some of the larger utilities there would be Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, PG&E, so Pacific Gas and Electric, SDG&E, San Diego Gas and Electric, and then SoCal Edison, or Southern California Edison, also known as SCE. If you are on one of those utilities, you can enroll in the DSGS program, which essentially there's approximately about 50 deployments every year to the grid from your stored battery energy. And they will compensate you for each deployment. So it does use your battery energy, but they're deploying that to the grid in times of high grid demand. So what the utility companies have seen is that there's all of this stored energy out there that could be of good use, and you may not have a power outage situation at that time or a blackout where you need your battery energy. You can go ahead and deploy that to the grid. Now, you're not automatically enrolled in that, and you are giving up some of that flexibility you may have as a homeowner, but some of the compensation can be really, really lucrative. And as a matter of fact, in the DSGS program and in the LUMA program, if a customer was to utilize each option, they could expect about anywhere from $400 to $800. Let's call it $500 to $600 if we kind of make it an average. So let's say $500 to $600 they can expect as a return for deploying that energy on a yearly basis. So you figure after a few years, you've now paid for your energy storage system, which is a pretty cool concept. So
yes, absolutely. I've seen a lot of homeowners do different forms of rebate programs. We know that solar is not always affordable, but with these different programs and with EG4 products and the price value that we offer, you can turn into your own utility company, be grid independent, and even support other parts of your community with those programs. They no longer have to do as many brownouts or blackouts because they have the support of everybody's batteries in the community as well, almost like a community solar.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's kind of the purpose of it, is like the utility companies recognize that there's all this energy out there. It's just stored in people's batteries, right? And so it is a pretty fair compensation package that they're offering to be able to deploy the energy from your battery. And we know that kind of things went away, like net metering and whatnot, really because that created something called the duck curve across the utility scale, let's say spectrum. When you have a bunch of solar energy being generated during the daytime, right? But everyone is out at work, especially when COVID kind of ended. Everyone went back to work. A bunch of rooftop PV got installed. And the grid didn't have the demand all the time for that time during the day. So it wasn't lucrative to a lot of utility companies. So I can understand, why net metering, that's part of the reason, right? Not the entire reason, but I can understand why net metering went away. Why I personally see like virtual power plants as a much more robust solution to assist the utility grid and be a good partner with them, even though especially me and being, an energy independence advocate, I might not always want to love the idea of being partnered with the grid, but in this instance, it could probably make a lot of sense. Ultimately, they discovered that VPPs allow you to deploy that energy at any time, particularly when people are getting home from work between 5 and 7 p.m. Your solar production is going away, right? And in some cases, depending on where you're located in the country or in the world, it's kind of non-existent at that time during the day. The sun's already passed over your PV array. You're not really getting any energy generation, but you are storing energy inside of your battery, and that can help the grid overall by deploying that energy from your battery to, again, help the community at large by preventing blackouts and stuff from an over demand on the grid. No doubt the grid infrastructure needs a lot of work, but we kind of see that there's not much being done, and that's why VPPs and just going energy independent in general and leveraging solar or an ESS, an energy storage system like an EG4 inverter and a battery is just so important to people nowadays, and why they should really look to it. So it's pretty cool stuff. With that said, how many customers do you have in California?
I don't even know that I have a number that I can attach to it. I know that California is one of the biggest in our direct customer pool.
Yep.
And it's probably one of the bigger solar states in the market. So it could impact, hundreds of installers, of thousands and thousands of homeowners, hundreds of thousands of homeowners. Who may already have EG4 products installed or who may be thinking about getting EG4 products installed. But it's a very impactful to the market as a whole. And I think, even just in the southern part of California where most of those territories lie, it'd be something to absolutely think about.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, California is one of our largest markets here at EG4, to your point, and that's actually, you bring up another great point. It's really important to mention that existing EG4 customers can utilize the DSGS program in California, and it also applies to new EG4 customers. So if you're working with an installer right now, getting EG4 equipment, or about to have EG4 equipment installed on your home, it's something that you can participate in. If it is an instance where you have pre-existing EG4 equipment, all you need to do is go on our website and you can enroll in the program through our website. And we'll show you that up on the screen so that you guys can see where to go. But you basically register your inverter serial number and your station, and then you would be prompted to go through some other additional steps in order to enroll in the DSGS program. And the same applies for customers in Puerto Rico. So if you are a customer in Puerto Rico and your utility company is Luma, you can go ahead and if you want to, you can enroll in the Luma Battery Energy Share Program, the CBES program. And you can take advantage of the financial benefits, which are really nice, of this virtual power plant program. If you're a new customer, you don't have it installed yet, but you're about to get it installed, you can go ahead and enroll as soon as it gets installed. So, and that applies for both Puerto Rico and California. So it's really cool stuff. And I think just the idea of VPP speaks to how important it is to come together as a community to protect the grid. But it also speaks to, the attention has now, the focus of the industry is now on battery energy storage, right? PV alone is not fixing the problem. We kind of knew that. Batteries solve for so much more than just solar energy alone or PV alone. So it's pretty cool stuff, right?
Yeah. I know programs, new things and new programs. There's always something popping up that it's scary to homeowners. Sometimes they don't fully understand it. So I appreciate you explaining the full extent of what a VPP program is, and don't get scared of all of the acronyms. We said like a bunch of letters. But just to do their own research and be empowered to look into the different ways that they can make solar more affordable for them. Ultimately, it's accessible. It really is. And it's going to impact them more, and it's going to be easier for them to kind of be grid independent or be energy independent if they just do a little research and really like look through all of their options.
Yeah, absolutely. And if anyone ever has any questions about it, we obviously would strongly encourage that they reach out to an EG4 certified installer to be able to talk to them about this and give them the education that they need. EG4 certified installers go through a certification process that's actually managed by you.
Yes.
To ensure that they have all of the up-to-date information and are properly trained on EG4 equipment. So to all the homeowners out there, reach out to an EG4 certified installer. If you're not sure who an EG4 certified installer is, you can go to our website and click on
Get EG4.
Yeah, Get EG4 for, is it Get EG4?
It says it's a button on there, and it should be on multiple pages, but it says Get EG4. And you fill out that form, and it comes straight to our network of account managers who will distribute that to a installer in their area, and that will be able to get them directly connected. They don't have to do anything else. They fill out that form, and an installer should be reaching out to them directly. We work with homeowners, so if maybe that's not the right match, that's okay, because the homeowner knows what they need, and we want to make sure it's provided. So we'll get you how many ever installers you need to feel comfortable with your project.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a ton of certified installers out there that we can guide you to. And there's a lot of resources online. Like I said, to sign up for these programs, they make it super simple where you can go straight to our website. And as long as your station or your inverter and battery are turned on, right? It's a connected system. You can register for these programs. And the other benefit too is you can also unregister from the program. You don't have to stay with this forever. If you're finding that it's not a great fit for you or whatever it may be, or you kind of want to dip your toe in the water and try it out, you can do that. And you can reap some of the financial benefits that your utilities are offering in use with your EG4 equipment. The other thing I'll say is I talked about a predefined roadmap for manufacturing with our equipment and scaling that. We also have a predefined roadmap of additional VPP programs that we will be servicing in the very near future. So in the month of June and the months of July and August and throughout September as well too, you should see further announcements from us that we will be added to more and more virtual power plant programs. We are actively working on that, which is really cool, which basically means there's VPPs that exist in pretty much half the states in the country at this point by now. And we plan on being on most of them. So that will give more and more customers the opportunity to reap the rewards of these financial incentives that their utilities are offering for having batteries installed on their home, which is really, really critical and super important to the grid, but also super important to the homeowner in terms of the payback period on your system. It can really accelerate the payback period when you figure an average of $500 to $600 a year from your utility just for deploying your battery energy at certain times to the grid. And it's not all the time, right? It's only on certain times. You figure you're looking at a very short payback period on your battery system as opposed to not exercising that. But again, not everyone wants to do that. and that's okay too. You don't have to do it.
Additionally, in my research, I've seen that most of these programs, even if you register for the whole program, you can opt out of certain times. If you just like are uncomfortable with that certain deployment, you can opt out. It might adjust your rebate a little bit.
Yep.
However, even if it's sign up for the program, you can stop the program whenever you want, but you can also just opt out of certain deployments.
Yeah.
So you can protect your battery at certain times that you feel you might need it. You can make what's the decision what's best. It would just adjust your rebate a little bit. And they've attempted very hard to make sure that the homeowner is most comfortable and really have still the power of their system. They purchased it. It belongs to them.
Yeah, absolutely. You can select certain times that you're not going to push energy out to the grid from your batteries, right? So if that's like a time where your whole family is home and you don't want to sacrifice anything in the event of a power outage, you can, in some cases, in some programs, not all of them, but some, you can turn that time window off and say, I'm not going to send any energy to the grid from my batteries. I'm just going to keep it all here so that I can protect the welfare of my family. And that's perfectly acceptable in some cases. So it's a really cool technology that I think some people get uncomfortable with, especially like some of the folks that originally I was uncomfortable with it, right? Because I'm very much energy independence. The power that I generate is mine. I want to keep it. But when I started looking at some of these incentives, I was like, wow, this is actually pretty good. I would be okay. It really changed my mindset. Granted, where I live, we don't have any virtual power plant programs available at this time. But I can say I would be an advocate now, knowing what I know now, for that on my own home. I would absolutely sign up for it. And I would feel comfortable about doing it, and I know that it would be a pretty cool financial reward too. It's a nice little rebate or money back incentive that they're actually giving you. And sometimes they're paying different VPPs pay it out differently. Sometimes they're sending you money directly to an account. Sometimes it's a direct rebate on your existing utility bill, or a reduction on your utility bill. And then in some cases, they're sending you, there's VPPs out there or utility companies that for deploying energy to the grid, they're sending you a Visa gift card in the exact amount that you would be compensated for your deployments to the grid. So it's pretty unique. Definitely encourage people to read the fine print, right?
Yeah.
And make sure that it's a good fit for you. But we want to make everyone aware that we are on the cutting edge of technology, and we have these programs available to consumers, with more and more coming online. So it's pretty neat stuff.
Yeah.
Outside of that, Miranda, do you have any customers in Puerto Rico?
I have a bunch of customers in Puerto Rico. Even more so, I have a bunch of homeowners in Puerto Rico that want EG4 systems. So if you're an installer in Puerto Rico and you are looking for another great option to add to your battery lineup, I've got plenty of homeowners that need batteries, that need inverters, that just would like to become energy independent. But yeah, it's a plethora of homeowners and installers in Puerto Rico that love EG4.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're going to be doing some training events down there. So we're really kind of expanding that market. I actually just got back from Puerto Rico. You had made the joke that I probably got sand in my laptop from sitting on the beach, but I didn't. I promise you I was working the whole time. It was a very busy trip, but we met a ton of installers who are installing EG4, and then a ton of new installers that are eager to install EG4 down there in Puerto Rico. And what we found is that that market is so hungry for a true whole home backup solution. Mm-hmm. And that's really what we offer. That's like our bread and butter, is a true whole home backup solution. And because of the inconsistencies of the grid down there in Puerto Rico, having that is just, it can be the difference between safety and unsafety, right? Of security and not having security. And in some cases, it can be a matter of life and death, because of how frequent they have power outages there and how susceptible they are to storms. this solution set is perfect for them. And it was so awesome to hear some of the customers, the installers that you onboarded, to hear the great feedback from them about you, which is great, but also the great feedback about the product. And then we're also actively listening about some of the things that we can improve upon and make better for that market there. And we're always listening. We're always making improvements. And we are a very open-minded company that, we can shift very quickly to meet the customer demand. So it was really cool. I was excited to be there and connect with customers. What do you see as kind of like the roadmap for some other new markets that we might look at? I know we're going on a trip up north now, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, we are, I think, tentatively looking at all sorts of markets. I get interest from all over the world. People who want to install EG4, people who just want EG4 on their home. We're traveling up to Canada here soon to kind of re-explore some of those options and making sure we can expand in those markets and making it really accessible. Canada in general is a very grid independent country. They have a lot of areas where you just can't get utility lines run out there, or if you do, it's thousands and thousands of tens of thousands of dollars. So they really do look at all of our they're more off-grid. I see a lot more off-grid systems, but we still have great relationships with some installers that work directly with their own form of rebate programs for utility companies and things of that nature. So we're hoping to kind of get more attention in the Canadian markets as well.
Yeah. What's one of the big utilities up there was BC Hydro?
BC Hydro. I'm not sure if that's the utility company name or the power plant name, but I know it is absolutely BC Hydro is one.
We're going to learn it.
BC.
We're going to learn it.
We're going to get it.
We're going up there.
Yeah. Learn my geography a little better.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have like a huge network of installers up there already. What we're doing in Canada is similar to what we're doing in Puerto Rico, where we're going throughout June, the middle of June. We're going on a road trip to host training sessions. So reach out to some of the distributors up there. Is Sol 49, right? Yep. And who else is up there?
Sol 49. We have Canadian Off-Grid and Off-Grid Distribution. And those networks kind of cater to a lot of smaller or sub-distributors in those areas. Those are our main distributors, and they're all great partners of ours. And hopefully we get to kind of hit some of their hot spots and really just support them and their sub-distributors and their network of installers that really just want that support, that crave that support.
Yeah, absolutely. So a shameless plug here. If you're in Canada and you will be available, I think it's like we're actually going up there from the 16th to like the end of the following week in June. So it's a long trip. We're going to host multiple training sessions where installers get a classroom and a hands-on experience of how to install the product. And we give you all of the educational resources and tools. We're going to do a deep dive in each one of those training events on commissioning equipment, different working mode settings, stuff like that. So generator integration and tie-in. There's a lot of different things that we're going to be covering. And I know if you reach out to one of the distributors up there, if they're not yet on our roadmap for the road show in Canada, definitely tell them to give EG4 a call. We will be glad to put you on the agenda and do some training for installers and train distributors as well. And it's going to be a really exciting experience. And we're going to do that all across the country here in the U.S. as well. And we're going to do a lot of that in Puerto Rico also, and just continue to expand. One of the things that, and you could probably, speak to this a lot, one of the things that we really want to start doing a lot more is getting very hands-on in a proactive way with our installers.
Yeah.
making sure that they have the necessary training that they need before they go out and do their first job, specifically with new installers, right? And then with existing installers, giving them updated training and kind of recapping on things on a regular basis. For the homeowners out there, that's important because now the homeowner knows that the manufacturer is actively road showing and going out to all of their installer and distributor networks and the people that carry and install their equipment and giving them the most up-to-date training, the biggest changes in safety and compliance, which is obviously a key priority to make sure that people have a safely installed system, as well as all the technical feature updates and how to install it proficiently. I think that should give homeowners a sense of encouragement as well and security.
Yeah. So on top of support and education, which is really, I think what homeowners look for is when they're looking for a certified installer, it's not just some random title. It's really getting an installer who is not only knowledgeable and educated, that they are supported. And that's the biggest thing. So even if some online course or a brief training doesn't explain it, you have the support needed for us to go and help that installer and make sure that homeowner has a solid install and everything operates as it should. And I think it's just kind of closes the gap of homeowners might think, well, how do I know that this is going to be good? How, just giving them the confidence that the money they're spending on this system is going to return them in tenfold.
Real peace of mind.
Yes, giving them a peace of mind.
Absolutely. And you mentioned something there, supported, right? For a homeowner that wants to install EG4 on their home because they want a true whole home backup solution that can really eliminate the utility bill or truly take them off grid, whatever their core value, their core goal is, right? It's one thing to be trained on the product, but things do go wrong. It's the real world. Does it happen all the time? No. But does it happen? Of course it does. And in some cases, installers need support from the manufacturer. So that kind of leads me to another point before we wrap up is why to a homeowner, why is it important that an installer gets support from your perspective from the manufacturer? Why is it important that we support the installer, but also what levels of support do we provide to an installer? Can you kind of speak to that?
Yeah, it's ever growing, and every time we find something, and we're really big on getting feedback. So at its core, our certified installers get from start to finish support through a design review, support through just conceptual understanding and education and training. We do additional hands-on training in some of those instances, and just a variety of you'll get a dedicated account manager and just loads of there's smaller things, but you could pick up the phone and somebody here in Texas is going to answer and liaison your support. So whether it's just initial questions, whether it's a design review, whether it is compliance related issues, or you're having a problem with your AHJ, or not necessarily a problem, but they have questions that you don't know how to answer, we'll be there on your behalf to make sure that you guys have a smooth install from start to finish, just like an EPC would go from designing to installing to commissioning. We're going to be there from designing to installing to commissioning with them. So that really helps the homeowner see that at any point in the process, they could pick up the phone and they can call someone here at EG4, and we would support them and make sure that it's a really smooth process, so we don't have any hiccups at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say to the homeowners, make sure your installer shows you their EG4 certified badge.
Yes.
Because we do have, if you're a certified EG4 installer, and if you are a certified EG4 installer, and you don't have your badge on your website, make sure you get it from us and put it on your website.
Yes.
And if you're not a certified installer yet, click on the website, go to the website. There is a become an EG4 installer, go through our certification process. We'd be glad to chat with you and help you out to make sure that this is something that you can install for many, many years and make many, many homeowners very, very happy with it. Miranda, what other things? I know we covered the Luma VPP, homeowners, installers, everyone in the EG4 family and ecosystem. If you're in Puerto Rico, we are on that virtual power plant program. Check it out. If you're an existing user, you can enroll on our website. If you're located in that area and you have the equipment already installed. For California customers, the DSGS program, another VPP, we are now live and active with that. We have more VPPs coming along, so we're excited about these programs. Yeah. We also covered some stuff on the tax credit. We covered certified installers. Anything else from your side that you wanted to cover in today's Power Hour?
I don't have anything specific, but I want to echo your point in going through the certification process. And it's quick, simple, and then you just unlock loads of support. Hopefully get to talk a little bit more in the near future about the power station and what the power station has to offer. It's our installer and distributor portal, just giving them more immediate access to us. Hopefully we'll get to talk about that in a future Power Hour.
Actually, why don't you just kind of tell us about the Power Hour? Let's not cut it off early. Let's keep going if you want to talk about it.
I can, but I thought Callie was going to talk about it.
We'll save it for another episode.
It'll be a whole. It's a great part of this. Is a great asset. We're still working on it. There's still some little things, but it's still a great. I will talk to you one-on-one. When they reach out and fill out their Become an Installer form, they can pick up the phone and ask to talk to Miranda, and I will explain everything about the power station.
My mistake. I'm glad that we can cover it in a full episode, and I guarantee you every installer, so they all know who you are, right? Half of the certified electrical contractors, the certified true professional installers, you've played a major role in getting them into the EG4 ecosystem, supporting them, and making sure that they're properly trained. They're probably all sitting here saying, "Oh yeah, Miranda's got something for me."
Oh yeah.
So and you can make a whole episode out of it.
I'll get a call in like 5 minutes after the episode is over, a text, and just say like, "I saw your video." That's what happened last time. They love to touch base with me. So shout out to all of my installers. You guys they're all amazing. All of them have been super engaged. They're joining our Power Hours, our webinars, our education resources. They text me happy birthday. Like, these guys are great. And and I love that we're all just people, and we all have the same goal, and that's energy independence, and they're willing to kind of grow with us, and we're hoping to grow with these other companies and make sure that they have the resources needed to be very successful.
Okay, so I think we ironed out the next episode. It's the power station, huh?
We'll talk about it a little bit more for sure.
I don't want to put you on the spot like that. Okay. Well, any last words, Miranda?
I don't. I appreciate you. Thank you for inviting me today. I know we talked about a lot of stuff, and hopefully it wasn't too much information, and installers and homeowners alike can really just absorb some of that, and really just encourage people to do some research and reach out to us if they have any questions about our direct relationship with some of these programs.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. We're here to answer any questions, and give everyone in the audience the tools and resources that they need to be successful, whether they're a DIY consumer, they're a professional installer, or homeowners, right? We are here to help make the world a better place by providing truly energy independence for everyone. So with that said, thank you all for being at this week's episode of the Power Hour. We encourage you to power more with EG4, and EG4 is your source for true whole home backup. Thanks.